Howdy folks, we're going to talk about drawing from observation and how we make associations for developing a drawing and being able to look at things in a drawing or to produce a drawing. So I'm going to just talk for this video. I'm not going to do any drawing, but this is going to be helpful, so I do want you all to pay attention and just take these things into consideration. So for our assignment this week, you all are going to be drawing your hands, and you're going to have to draw them very realistically, and that's going to require you to look at them. Now, we all think we know what a hand looks like. You know, everybody thinks, you're like, oh yeah, I can draw a hand. All I have to do is like do a thumb and some fingers, and then there's my hand. Yeah, it does kind of resemble a hand, but if you want to be realistic about it, we have to learn how to break things down into manageable sections. We have to learn how to like make associations about like how one thing lines up to another. We also have to consider things like positive and negative space. So like for a hand, you know, the positive space would be the hand itself. The negative space would be the space between and around the hand. So like if I can draw this shape in here between the fingers accurately, then I know at least that much of the fingers themselves are going to be accurate. Anytime you're doing an observational drawing, we're all kind of predisposed to be like, okay, we got to draw this really quickly. I know, like say I'm drawing an apple, I know what an apple looks like, so I should be able to draw one. That's what your brain tells you. But your brain lies to you fairly easily and tells you can do things when really you need to go at it in a different way. So anytime you're doing an observational drawing, especially if it's the first time or the first few times you've tried to draw something, you need to be looking at that object or that subject, whatever it is, constantly. I mean, like if you're looking at your paper 40% of the time, you're looking at the thing you're trying to draw 60% of the time. And that's really how it should be. You should be looking back and forth constantly, you know, trying to record the information as accurately as you can. So for something like our hands, the first thing we need to do is say, okay, I can't draw the whole thing all at once. It's too much information. So what I want to be able to do is start to break it down into manageable shapes and sections so that I'm building it up over time. And my best analogy I use for this is it's like playing with Legos. You know, you can't build a spaceship just by dumping the Legos out on the table and then expecting it to become a spaceship. You have to sit there and physically put each piece together. And doing a drawing is very much the same way. So the way we're going to go about doing this is, you know, pick a place to start. And you're going to have to do blind contour line drawings. That's a preliminary kind of drawing exercise to kind of help you build that visual memory of the thing you're trying to draw. And then you're going to do contour line drawings, which is like the same thing. You're still looking at the object, but you're going to be able to look at the paper at that point. With blind contour line, you don't look at the paper. You just look at the thing you're trying to draw. Those drawings come out fairly rough. They aren't meant to look good. They're meant to be an exercise to help you to learn how to see the thing you're trying to draw. You know, we've been kind of, conditioned over time to say like, well, if you can't do it right the first time, then it's not worth doing. The problem with that is that it's completely wrong. If you can't do it right the first time, that's no reason to not continue to do it. You continue to do things and you get better, and that's how drawing works. It's just like playing sports or getting good at, you know, say you're good at playing pool or anything like that. It takes time to get good at those things. It takes practice. You know, you can't expect to be an expert the first time you pick up a pencil and try to draw something. So, anyway, so as you start, the other thing to consider is how do we make associations of like how does one thing line up relative to another? So if I'm doing a drawing and say I'm drawing this section of my finger here, so I'm drawing this section, then I'm gonna draw this section. I can use this, once I get this laid down, I can use this to reference where I need to put the pieces for the next finger, because they're not all the same. Each finger is completely different. They're similar in shape, but other than that, they're quite different. So looking at like the lines, the creases for the knuckles. So like In my hand, like this one is a little bit higher than this one. So in the drawing, I would make sure that that crease at the knuckle is a little bit higher than that one. I'm going to pay attention to like where the fingertips are. Okay, like so this one's, this fingertip comes up about halfway up on this. So in the drawing, I'm going to make sure that I'm lining that up about halfway. So that's making those associations, and it's building the proportion necessary to develop an accurate drawing. And I can use things like my pencil and say, okay, well, my hand is this wide compared to my pencil. So like if I come down on the sheet of paper, I can mark it here, and I can mark it like here and say, okay, that's the width of my palm. And then I can start building in the fingers. And then from there I can say, okay, well, this line in my palm's coming up to about like right in here, so that I can come into the drawing and lay it in there. So, it's all about making those kinds of associations of like, how does one thing line up to another, paying attention to the negative space, and it's about taking your time. Anything worth doing is going to take longer than 15 minutes. So the blind contour line drawings might take 15 minutes each. The contour line drawing itself may take 45 minutes or 30 minutes, or it just depends. Depends on how much information you want to put in. I think I probably spent about 2 hours doing this drawing. So, I do want to see like really nice, realistic representation, or at least your attempt to do a really nice, realistic representation. Am I expecting them to be absolutely perfect? No, I am not. But I do want to see that you are trying to accurately record the information that you are observing. So take your time with these drawings. You'll also find a tutorial for blind contour line drawing and contour line drawing, and you'll need to watch those as well. I'm going to put this one first on the assignment, and this is just kind of more of the overview aspect, but I'm sure I'll have an overview for like the assignment requirements video as well. So this assignment's going to be a little bit longer, a little bit more involved, but you're actually going to have more time to do it anyway. So don't be too discouraged by it. Just take your time. Do the best you can. Don't come in here or don't submit work saying, well, the best I can do is drawing a little cartoon hand. I want you to try more than that. Not that, I'm fairly confident most of you will try to do better than that. Y'all have been doing some pretty good work. So, just take your time. Don't get overwhelmed by it. And just do the best you can with it, and I'm sure you'll be fine. So I'm just going to be looking that you're starting to learn how to observe and record information accurately. Beyond that, it's practice. So if you like drawing and you want to get better at drawing, you keep doing it. You keep using these practices, you keep using these exercises, and they work for drawing anything, not just our hands. Like, that's the important part. We're drawing our hands for this assignment because I don't have to worry about you all trying to find your hands. You've got them with you all the time. So, but if I was drawing a plant or a tree or a dog, I'm going to be using these exact same methods. Just as an example, for one of my other classes, I had to draw a fox. And so here's the drawing of the fox. And I did some blind contour lines beforehand, and then I drew out this guy, and I still messed up a little bit and had to erase, but that's the way it goes. So, it takes time. But, the initial drawings I did weren't that great, but after doing it a few times, you get better, you start to see things, you get better at observing the subject, and you get better at recording that information. So doing something once is not enough. You have to be able to do it multiple times. Anyway, thank you. See you.